Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, it is great to have you. And today I have a very interesting video for you because Ethereum is growing continually bullish with the development of this ascending triangle on both the 4-day and the 1-hour chart. Now, if you guys remember from yesterday's video, I talked about how Bitcoin was forming the opposite of this formation and growing a descending triangle, which is a bearish formation and continuation pattern. So with Ethereum seemingly showing the opposite of this and a very bullish formation, we have a very interesting situation on our hands where Ethereum looks incredibly bullish and Bitcoin actually looks pretty bearish. So that is exactly what I want to break down in this video today and talk about if Ethereum can actually go on a little bit of a skyrocket rip while Bitcoin has the potential to dump down into that $9,000 area. So if any of that sounds interesting, make sure you guys stick around for the entire duration of this video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this one. Now, first things first, let's talk about the resemblance between these two charts. Now, with Bitcoin forming that descending triangle as we talked about, and pretty much having the principle of continually lower swing highs while holding the same level of support, Ethereum really has the flip side of this argument and having continually higher swing lows, one after another while holding the exact same level of resistance. Now, if we want to go over here and take a quick look at the Bitcoin chart over on Coinbase, we can see that, Bitcoin for the most part is having the flip side of this argument while we are having consecutively lower highs while holding the same level of relative support. Now, this is a very interesting time because it's not very often that you see something like this happen on the cryptocurrency charts, especially when it's the #1 cryptocurrency marked against the #2 cryptocurrency, and obviously they are having very conflicting readings right now. Now, I guess the one argument is that since altcoins have been such a driving factor throughout the second half of this year so far, one could argue that Ethereum is the real driving force to kind of recognize in this scenario, but both of these still have death crosses on the 4-hour chart, and while they do, are still maintaining that golden cross on the daily times perspective, I think that we have to at least acknowledge that there is this death cross on the 4-hour of both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, with this actually playing out, I think that this actually plays a very crucial part in what we're looking at, in that yes, we are below the 50 EMA on both of the 4-hour timescales over here, but with this actually happening, this creates a scenario where cryptocurrency can continue to move on, and really, I guess the altcoin market cap can continue to kind of bring up the price of Bitcoin. Now, it's been a big part of the past of where Bitcoin has brought up the altcoins, and the altcoins sometimes have brought up Bitcoin. And what I kind of see this at is a potential to be a self-relying market where when one of them is struggling, the other can bring, really one can bring another one up. So if Bitcoin's struggling, here we have the alts that have Bitcoin's back. And if Bitcoin's struggling, or really just the vice versa scenario of that. So that's kind of the way that I'm viewing this over here. And it's not like it's putting Bitcoin versus Ethereum, which one's better, which one's bearish, which one's bullish, because ultimately I think that these are going to move collectively, and that if the altcoin market, and specifically if Ethereum over here wants to have a breakout and go up to the upside, I think that Bitcoin will follow in this, and that we're not going to have a scenario where Bitcoin essentially tanks while Ethereum decides to go on a rip and potentially start working its way back up to those yearly highs. It's very rare that we see something like that, and of course, we are below some significant resistance levels, as I have highlighted over here on this Ethereum chart. And while we have been continually rejecting that, the difference is that while we are rejecting that on Bitcoin, we are retesting that level on Ethereum time and time again, while creating the squeeze to the upside. Well, on Bitcoin, up until this point, and that could change by the time this video is out, and I really hope that it does, but we are creating that squeeze to the upside on Ethereum, and that's not something that we have seen yet on Bitcoin. So one of the big driving factors over here is that when we go to the 4-hour timescale the 1-day timescale of both Ethereum and on Bitcoin, we can see that these daily MACDs have started to already round off towards the upside over here, which is a good sign, because that's saying that from a daily perspective, which is even larger and more significant than the 4-hour, we can see that the bears have been running out of juice. We have been consolidating in this area for a while, but we are seeing the bulls start to gain a little bit of momentum, and while that could go away at any moment, we are seeing the bulls grow increasingly stronger and the bears growing increasingly weaker for the time being. Now, the retrace on this obviously has not been anything ridiculous or crazy. But again, the big argument here is that while we are maintaining a level of resistance and growing that price point of support, and I think that the daily chart really does a good job of showing this in probably the simplest way possible. We can see that these are all wicks over in here below this area of around $335, showing that there is buying pressure and that the candles are closing above, pretty far above for the most part of this support line. Which is again something that I like to see. But here we are on the daily looking at this 50 EMA that is currently suppressing the price of Ethereum. Now, this has been a point in the past where we look at the 50 EMA and we can see that, it bounced off and then bounced again and again and again and again. But now that we are actually broken down through, we can see the final bounce over in here. We have broken down below the 50 EMA and we have come back up and we are currently rejecting it from where it's currently at. Now, this is going to be a pivotal point because not only do we have a trend line resistance in this area, but we also have the 50 EMA resistance, which is going to be a significant one. And something that no one wants to see is for us to break down through support and then retest support is now turn resistance on top of the EMA being resistance. That could potentially lead to worse problems for Ethereum and really all of cryptocurrency for that matter, but we are not at that point yet. We are kind of just testing those levels. So that's something that I am sitting aware of and keeping a close eye on. But if we are going to zoom out on this, obviously the macro trend for this for the past like 6, 7, 8 months now has been to the upside. This has been in a very nice and fluid and pretty straightforward uptrend ever since March came around and cryptocurrency bottomed out for the year over in that area. So, obviously, I am a big fan of the trend is your friend, but I am at least recognizing that, hey, there could be some possible warning signs on here that are at least worth recognizing and taking into account, and not something that I just want to blow off and kind of call myself a permabull and act like they're not even there. They're worth addressing. They are factors to acknowledge, which is why I am making this video. Now, obviously, I say this all the time, but I am very long-term bullish on cryptocurrency. And when I make a video like this, it's not to beat cryptocurrency down or anything like that, but it's just kind of to talk about all the different angles that one can view this and to look at both sides of the argument. Now, again, I'm not a legal, financial, or tax advisor in any way. But there is a lot going on this chart, and I think that a lot of this can be used for educational purposes in the least. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you guys very soon, and I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So let me know what you guys are thinking down there, and until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video.